Welcome into the BFF realm, and this should be episode 16. And so on today's episode, I want to add to the city. I want to add to the town that I'm building. We did balloons last week. So this week I want to add the Golden Jubilee Senior Center in town. It's not the most architecturally interesting building in the world, but it's very important to the Balloon Fiesta. It's kind of the base or the home of the festival, and it's where all the activities take place. It's where all the things are sold, all the tickets are bought. So I'm gonna put it up here on top of this hill a little bit off the way. If you remember from last episode, these red marks are going to be the roads. So I want to give myself some space, and I still want to have the balloons in render distance. So I believe right around this area here, I'll put a building to represent the Jubilee Hall, and hopefully I'll have it up on screen. It's going to deviate from reality a little bit because, again, this isn't a one-to-one representation, but what I want to do is I want to mimic these flags over on this side of the road as well. So have like flags here, here, and here sort of deal, to mirror what's happening on that side, and then the road will pass between them, and then the hall will be up here. So let me work on this a little bit off camera, and I can show you some of the build decisions I've made. Secondly, on this week's episode is I want to go around and do a quick server tour. I've asked some of my server mates if they want to show their builds off on camera, and a couple of them have. So I'm glad to go by, and what I'm going to do there is I think I'll flip back and forth from a creative copy of the world before things were done and show you some of the transitions. But let me get the foundations of this building laid out, and we'll be back in like 2 seconds. Well, I realize I'm getting a little carried away here. So I've decided to go with cut sandstone because the building itself, the walls are a yellowish beige, and I'm just trying to find the right color, and in Minecraft it was basically between this and like bamboo, and the bamboo just read too much yellow. Now if you remember from the picture, there's a veranda on the front, and I have to figure out where to put windows and doors in. But I'm going to go with a 5-high wall, and then the veranda roof will come off of here in line with this. So actually these probably should be 4 tall. And then I have to like put some windows in. I left a space for a door. The door is probably going to be 3 wide, so these can probably come in another one. I'm just kind of roughing it in right now at this moment. And the other thing I might want to do is I can do the trick where if I put the block there, I can make the curve come around this way, which actually is probably the best idea to do here. Anyway, that's the finer detail for the next step. The building's pretty much square, or not square, it's symmetrical. This will be the walkway in. Down to the road will be over here. So this will be the view from the road. In reality, there's like there's seating, like bandstands here for the crowds. And the building isn't completely symmetrical. The back part of it, there's a stairway downstairs, and downstairs is where all the pilot briefings are every morning. So I think in this world, the downstairs might turn into like a sheep farm or something to that effect. But I'm going to work in a little bump out back there for the staircase. Inside will be some sort of display. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really come up with a design. It'll probably end up being like mannequins selling uniform or armor displays or something. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to go with a 3-wide doorway here. Let me get some of the finer details in, like doorways and windows, and I'll start in on the roof, and that'll be pretty much a quick little build here. Some finer details for decorations, some seating and stuff. But yeah, let me get some of the finer details done. Give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. And another quick fast forward, and I've got the roof on now. putting the roof on the way it is in real life kind of forced the walls to be a little bit taller than I wanted them to be. So the proportions are off a little bit, and of course I can't attach quartz to the bottom half of a second block, so I'm losing a bit of it there on the angle. But with a little bit more lights, and this window doesn't exist in real life, but I wanted to add some variety in. But if I get some park benches in different ways, maybe do stuff like this for a park bench, perhaps. Anyway, I'll play around with this, and a walkway in here, maybe with smooth stones. And again, I'll mess around with this a little bit off camera. And yeah, the rough build is pretty well done. This came together actually pretty quick. As I said, it's not the most elaborate build in the world, and I had to go a little bit off reality in order to get it to work on Minecraft. But I do want to get some more decorations in place and some more lights in place. But yeah, this is kind of what I was going for. There's a Jubilee sign here that I need to try to work in somehow. I need some lights up top. And I want to put 3 more flagpoles up here. And I'm thinking, like, these are national flags. I'd like to do some of the native flags, like Mi'kmaq and the native peoples, in on this side. So then in this build, with these flags here, there'll be grandstand or bandstands through here. And then what I want to put in over on this side, probably next episode, would be the bandstand that they do for music during the festival. So during the Balloon Fiesta, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. There's carnival rides, there's live music, food trucks all over the place. So I want to try to bring some of that festivity to this build. But I think just for today, where I want to do a bit of a tour around the server, let me get some of the rough outside decorations done. We'll do a final trip around this for today, and then we can go travel around the server. Well, I'm actually happy for now. I did a little bit of decorations, and like in real life, there's these 2 giant oversized bushes that don't really seem to fit at the front of the building that block your line of sight, just like real life. I've put some copper benches down actually, and I'll wait for them to oxidize. I think the blue will go well, or the green oxidized will go well. And just finished off the ends here with little fences, because in real life they're blocked off. And yeah, this will be a good place to sit down and watch the balloons take off. And I put some flagpoles up. I have to do some research into like the Mi'kmaq and the native flags. I don't have them memorized. I've got a rough idea, but I'd have to do a little bit of research before I put them in. And hopefully this is more than enough room to put a road in between. And I know it's a little bit off where I wanted it, but that was just a rough guide anyways. I think the road can be centered in between the 2 right through here. Should be pretty good. Oh yeah, the building is a little bit narrower than in real life, but that's fine. There's an ocean right there. I'll probably put a bunch of trees in at the edge, just to kind of block the light of sign or sight lines in. So yeah, no, I'm happy with today. Like I said, this will probably end up being a sheep farm. So what I might do is off camera, get some sheep through a portal, because there's nothing that spawns on this island. I'll get like 2 sheep in, and I'll just put, it'll just be observers and some shear. Like, it's a very simple build. I might show it after it's done, but I'm not going to show making it. But that'll be a side project. That's nothing special. The rest of the terrain out through here is going to have to wait until I get finalized roads. I think roads might be my next kind of task, to lay them out. Roads and train tracks. I am excited to build the train that I saw, but that won't be this episode. That will be maybe next. I'm thinking next week will be a balloon and a train. So all about transportation. But for the rest of this episode, let's do a quick little server tour. And where I'm going to start is, let's go back to spawn at the start of the world. Here I am, spawned into a creative copy of the world, and to show you what spawn looked like back at the start of the game. And I headed towards the cherry trees, and I built my base just down around this cove. So my starter base, although the world's not loading, my starter base is right over here. And that is super weird. The world's generated differently. Unless this ground isn't right. Yeah. Very strange. Yeah, this is the same seed and everything, but yeah, my starter house is right here. So let's show you what the nether looked like as well. Back at the start of the world. And back at the start of the world, we spawned up in this little crevice. And I poked my head out down here to find the nether. And so this is where the nether hub has been made. So a lot of this had to be cleared out and built over top of lava lakes. And then the monuments down through here. So let's go and show you quickly what spawn looks like. As we can't join multiplayer. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, here's the fortress. So let's go into the realm and we'll show you what spawn and the nether looks like. So spawn now in the BFF realm. I cleared all these trees and there's several buildings here now. There is the furnace house, the dye house. This has a bunch of armor trims. And the first building I made here at spawn has a bunch of end gear in it. So there's end gear here, and then there's the portal up on top of that tower. Why I built these towers, I'm not really sure. I think it was inspired by an old build by Gemini Tay. And these have been used quite a bit. People have been diving in, especially new people to the world, and I keep refilling these every time I go to the end. And also some of the other members will put spare armor in here for people to use. And this is where, like, if you needed shulker boxes and stuff like that. So I tried to put a bunch of community builds here that could be used by anybody. So if you needed dyes, if you had a quick, easy resource, if you needed a lot of stuff to smelt, if you wanted to trim out your armor. In through the cherry forest is where a lot of my close family have decided to live. And they're just pokey holes in the mountain for now. A lot of them were just kind of in for the start of things and may come back. Like Sophia up here on top of the hill, and I built that little staircase up to her place. But yeah, this is my starter base. I put a couple of resources and spread the cherry trees down. But my starter base was just this little kind of Asian-inspired house. And a little hole in the wall to keep all my things in. And in here, of course, I've got my villagers, and my villagers are all named. Richard, and we've got Babette, and we have Lane. If you know where the names are from, I love to hear you in the comments section to say where you think the names are coming from. And if you remember, I had a zombie here to start that I cured them with. I called him Mitchum. So those are 4 names. Mitchum, Lane, Babette, and Richard. I think another name I had there was Zach that I didn't use. Other than that, this was all by episode. I added little memories to the walls and just kept expanding. So let's get into the nether hub. And we can start to talk about things that I didn't do that other people have done. So I did do this hub. As you remember from the creative world we just came from. This was all dug out by hand, and this is all lava lake underneath of me. I don't want to poke a hole because it'll just sink down into the lava. But as you can see, it's all lava lake underneath. And we started with tunnels. Now, I did a lot of the tunneling, but I've just done them. These are all bottom half slabs. So I did them to this state, and it was a future goal of mine to come back and decorate. However, we'll look at them in a second. One of the server mates, Duff, has gone through and done a lot. There's several portals to different areas, like a mining desert. And if you look at the start of the tunnels, there will be a mangrove swamp down this way on this side. And there will be Mr. Crimson Moon's base on this side and a mining base on this side. So each tunnel is labeled at the start, and then they are also labeled at the tunnel entrance. So just down this way is Mr. Moon's base. He was on a lot to start the season. And he is in a mesa, but his tunnel is not done yet. And then the mining mesa is this portal, and Crimson Moon's base is that portal. But now we can get into... Well, first, down this east tunnel is my new base that we'll go to at the end of the episode, would be the Mushroom Island. We'll go down this tunnel to end the tour. On the west tunnel is a couple of things. There is a Wither Skeleton Farm, a Gravel Mountain, an Ancient City, and a Blaze Spawner. But the big thing down here is this tunnel has all been done by Duff. And it is amazing. A very cool gray to black palette. Very intricate, very tall, very big. Just amazing. All the detail, all the block choices. Very cool. Very, very cool. And my favorite thing, I think, is that you can still see out into the nether. Yeah, just absolute amazing amount of work he's been putting into these tunnels. Outstanding. Blows my mind. And this tunnel is down here to, what are we at? 200, 250? And then, of course, we've got the raid tower down this way. There is the gravel mountain down this way. And then the Nether Fortress farm that I made, and Nether Fortress, stuff like that. So this is really cool. Super amazing. The first tunnel, though, that Duff made is the North Tunnel. And the North Tunnel includes the end, as well as there's an Ocean Monument farm down here. But this is a very cool palette, like an end palette, with a bunch of, I believe this was magenta terracotta. And then the clay, the mud bricks. Oh, it's very cool. And he's got this all the way down to 500. He's done a ton of work. Right up here is the end tunnel. Just something, I quickly did this. It's not to the level of Duff's tunnel. Duff's tunnels are so big. One of the things I asked for was for them to be big enough, because some of the people that are on the realm don't have a lot of experience in flying, so I wanted to make sure that things were tall enough where people could fly easy. But yeah, he's got this tunnel way down to 400. It's just crazy. Ocean Monument Farm, of course, is down this way. And that's pretty much the end of this tunnel, and the tunnels will keep adding to as we expand the world and we need more portals to different places. But the first portal I want to show you to, the two people that asked, or said it was okay for me to show off, would be Duff and Captain Fajita are through this amazing portal. The scale of which is really cool. And the way he's worked some purple and stuff into it is really cool. Yeah, so this is Duff and Captain's portal, and then Crimson Moon. So we'll show off their two bases, but we're going to show you the before and the after. So let's go through, and I'll meet you in creative. Here in the creative world, this abandoned portal is actually the exact spot to where their portal comes through. And as you can see, it is a random plateau. There's a little bit of snow and a little bit of ice and a little bit of trees. Hard to believe what actually comes out of this is out of this area. Actually, Captain's base is like right here, right where these blocks are. This little patch of snow is where right where her base is roughly. So yeah, so not much to see here, but wait till you see what it looks like when we go into the BFF realm. So on the BFF realm, this is where you come into their area with their nether portal. And Captain's base kind of started down here before Duff came to the world. But it's grown ever since. There's all this pathing and blocks and custom trees and custom decorations. Yeah, it's very elaborate. Captain's made a great big barn. And this was her little starter base that she just keeps expanding and expanding onto. It's crazy busy. All their villagers set up. I can't remember if everybody's been traded with or reduced, but yeah, she has like all the villagers, a map. This was a map of her original area. Make sure I'm not falling into lava. So yeah, so all this stuff has all been added in. If you remember from the creative, the snow blocks were right about here somewhere. I think that's something that the World Gens added to that wasn't here originally. But yeah, there's I believe this was a bee farm. So many things. Oh, there's a new build up here she's working on. Her base is over here. I better fly over there if I can. Yeah, super, super, super cool. And she's got all of her base lined with berries so that the mobs can't get in. Yeah, and I believe she has her real-life sister living here too, or sister-in-law, one of the two. Yeah, really cool house. And so another build up here on top of the hill. Which leads into the cherry hills that you could see from spawn. This is just the far side of it. But very cool, very intricate builds. You can look over top of all of our lands from up here. And this must be the start of a new build over here. Very cool. I like the use of the diorite mixed with the brick. Very cool block palette. Oh, I didn't even notice this great big tree. What? That's really cool. And then we get into some of Duff. So this is, if I can land on it, this is Duff's starter house. But I wanted to take a look at that tree from over here. That's really cool. I hadn't noticed that before. Well, I don't come over here very often, to be honest with you. Yeah, so this is Duff's starter house that I'm standing on top of. Very intricate, very cool, very well designed. And then I believe this is his storage building with villagers. Very, very good scale, a lot of color, a lot of use of depth and texture. It's very cool. I believe that's like his bamboo farm. Like that's a lot of work for a bamboo farm. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I think this was bees, maybe? Or his wheat farm. I can't remember if it was a wheat farm with the LAs. But yeah, all the pathing, all the decorations. Super, super cool. Yeah, I believe this is just a shell that goes around the bamboo farm, but like the use of tuff and acacia wood and like all these different blocks for the block palette. Very cool builds. If I can remember how to get into here. Yeah, this is all redstone powered sugarcane farm, bamboo farms. But all this work just to cover up some farms. It's really cool. A lot of work. Yeah, it's a very, very intricate little village he has going on here. So next we'll go over to Crimson Moon's base. Crimson hasn't been on a whole lot, but what he has done, he's been able to do very quickly. So it's been actually really cool to see. So let's go over to see what his base looked like in creative. And welcome to Crimson Moon's base. Again, doesn't look like much in creative, but he picked this really cool Badlands, a little valley to live in. And his base is right around here in this little valley. So in a matter of seconds, we'll be right there. And here we are in the same valley, but on the BFF realm. And Crimson Moon has made a little sunken base. It's a very intricate, cool design too, where it's like an inverse pyramid. It steps down in, and I know he's working on the terrain in and around, but he's got this really cool use of glazed terracotta, and then his base is all sunken down in, and it's like symmetrical on four sides. So like all these layers have all the workstations and storage on, and then the deeper down you go, it has all of his storage all separated. Very cool, very, very good use of the terracottas. Again, it's a work in progress, but it's a really cool use of all these blocks, and to use. I think I've seen a base like this way back from some of the hermits, actually, on Hermitcraft. Very cool. So yeah, the only other thing to show you is the Mushroom Island I started on, which we'll just finish the episode up there and we'll talk about next week. Down the east tunnel there is a birch forest biome, a giant taiga biome, a Mushroom Island biome, and another end portal. Yeah, if there's anybody that has a question about whether or not you can have multiple ends opened up in the same world, you absolutely can. You can have as many as you want. There's another base. Somebody has a base in here. I'm not sure. Maybe Smat or Snots. I can't remember who's in here. Yeah, and it's just as I've found biomes, I've put portals to them. They're not decorated yet. Eventually they'll be decorated. Maybe not to the level of Duff, but they'll be decorated. But yeah, let's quickly get to the Mushroom Island. Well, we better sleep tonight. So back here on the Mushroom Island, we'll call it an episode. Thank you guys for watching. I enjoyed this little quick tour around. I don't get the chance to go see everybody's bases very often, but this is the start of the Mushroom Island build. Of course, we've got balloons in the air. We've got now the Jubilee Hall and the train station. And next week, I am trying to do some research. There is a pilot. Bill's significant other, Sandra Rolfe, is the balloon I'm trying to build. But there's one. She has an old yellow and green one that I want to make. And we'll spend some time talking about her. Again, also, I want to build the train in the next episode that will go back in behind here. So very cool. Thank you for taking the tour with me. And we'll just keep adding to the world. And maybe after a little while, maybe another 15 to 16 episodes, we'll come back and do another world tour. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.